You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be able to sleep at night. The problem I find is that some people can sleep pretty well after having done some pretty terrible things. I, meanwhile, can really only sleep if I was better than I was yesterday. I want to improve. And I'm trying to figure out if all of those other people that are okay with doing the kinds of things I would be too ashamed of myself to walk outside. I'm trying to figure out if they just don't care, if it's apathy, ignorance, or I don't think anyone's malignant. I don't think anyone wakes up trying to be malignant, right? I don't think people have it in them to be malicious. But these things happen, you know? It's so funny when people say, "Oh, it's mental illness. This person was ill. This person did X thing. Um, this person had X problem." I think sane people are just as capable of being awful. In fact, I'm certain of it. The same way I'm certain that good people can do bad things. I remember one of the most painful lessons I ever had to learn in life was that just that you it was capable for a bad person to do something good or a good person to do something bad, and it didn't contradict itself. That um, you just because you do something awful, genuinely awful, isn't it doesn't define you, and it's not the same thing as saying don't judge anyone by their worst moment. Or that, just that people are fundamentally multifaceted, and some of those facets are abhorrent, and the facet you deal with in a given day, or the facet that affects you, isn't all of who they are. And so there has to be room for forgiveness, even when they hurt you. And when you have to deal with that person, a lesson I've learned is trying is I learned isn't the right word. I still don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. But I don't know. Uh it's awful out there. It's not good. And I want answers. I'm never going to stop looking for answers. But this life thing is hard. And it's worth it. But it is so hard to be genuine about the kind of beautiful that life is when some of the beauty comes from tragedy. And how much wouldn't be here if the pain didn't come too. It's weird to ask yourself the question of, like, would I trade the worst night of my life? Would I take the... No, Booker, that's spicy. Eating some jalapeno cheese and my cat is curious. Yes, little man. If I didn't go through... Yeah, I know. Okay, alright. Well, I wouldn't play with that. That's my phone, little guy. Oh. That's not for Bookers. That's not Booker food. The... Trying to figure out what your life would be like sans one thing, sans one night, sans one interaction, is a humbling experience, because put enough distance between you and that moment, you kind of like some of the things that happen. You kind of like who you are in certain moments, or maybe you don't, but you know that it's not all bad. It's living is a rainbow of colors. It is a spectrum of emotions. And they all come so fast, and not all of them are bad. And you wouldn't be who you are without the worst day in your life, and who you are is what led to some of the best things you've experienced since. And at some point, you would just be so fundamentally different that there is a certain amount of ego death you'd have to experience to be anyone other than who you are, because of a moment that, in the end, defined you. So what do we do? How do we deal with trauma, pain, distance? You can accept it, but then what? How do you let people live down their mistakes? It's so much work. I don't want to hate anyone, ever. I don't want to have it in me to hate. And I don't always succeed. And to be true to that, for that not to be a lie, I have to apply it to everything I ever do, and everyone I ever meet, or even just read about. And it's hard. It's so hard. But it's worth doing. Probably. I don't know, but it has to be, because if it isn't, then we really are just the worst day of our lives. Sucks, right?